Let's talk about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Coming into the 2025 season, the Ravens were seen as massive Super Bowl contenders in the NFL. In the same conversation with Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills, the Lions, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, a lot of teams this year, they have been very underwhelming. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they have been so close over the last few years with Coach Harbaugh being the head coach. Especially when you have all the talent that the Ravens have with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, Rashard Bateman, Tyler Linderbaum, Ronnie Stanley. You go to the defense here, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins. There's a lot of talent here for the Ravens, and injuries have hurt the team this season. Lamar Jackson, he's missed time. Roquan Smith, Matabuke, their best defensive lineman, hurt his neck. He may never play ever again. I hope that's not the case. But the latest update on him doesn't sound very good. I just want to acknowledge the injuries early on in this video. But the Baltimore Ravens, they just don't look right this season. Even going back to week 1 against the Buffalo Bills, you blew that lead against the Bills here. And Lamar Jackson had a very good game. Lamar Jackson was 14-19, 209 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown for 70 rushing yards. You lost this game 40-41. And you have a lot of people that come out, they blame Derrick Henry. They point back to that fumble. They'll say he fumbled the football that turned over all the momentum. The fumble did hurt. But your offense still had 40 points in this game. There is no reason that you should lose a game in the National Football League and your offense has 40 points, but you lost this game 41-40. And Josh Allen was Superman because your defense wasn't good enough. Derrick Henry did have a bad fumble, and you can blame him for that. But that loss is mostly on the defense and mostly on Zachary Orr, the defensive coordinator. When you have all the talent that the Baltimore Ravens have on the defensive end, your defense should never give up 41 points in the first game. But it's just week 1. You shake things off. Let's go over to week 2 against the Cleveland Browns. This is when they had Joe Flacco. A very good win for the Baltimore Ravens. They won this game 41-17. Lamar Jackson had 4 passing touchdowns, 225 passing yards. He only had 13 rushing yards, but they didn't need him to run around and to make too many plays outside the pocket. He killed them with his arm. But the next week against the Lions, the offense doesn't look the same. Lamar Jackson was still very efficient, 21-27, 288 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 35 rushing yards. He got sacked 7 times. Now, granted, a lot of the sacks in this game were on Lamar Jackson. He's holding on to the football for a very long time. Wide receivers aren't getting open on the back end. When they do get open, they have a spy up. Lamar Jackson is running into traffic. But he still played well enough to win this matchup. Your defense allowed over 200 rushing yards. Once again, your defense is a problem. And the Lions were viewed as a Super Bowl contender and still are in the NFL. You have to beat teams like this. And you lost this game to the Lions 38-30. And to be realistic here, it was a late score in this matchup for the Baltimore Ravens. You had 23 points. It was 23-38. But we'll give them the 30 points here. Once again, defense is a problem. The next week against Kansas City, Lamar Jackson goes down with a hamstring injury, but before he goes down, he did not perform well. 14-20, 147 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. They blitzed the hell out of Lamar in this game. He had 48 rushing yards. Unfortunately, he goes down with that hamstring injury. He can't finish out the game. Now, let's pause here for a second. You would think Lamar Jackson, franchise quarterback, he can move around. He's a scrambling quarterback. You have Tyler Huntley on the bench. Similar archetype to Lamar Jackson. Not in the same conversation with Lamar Jackson talent-wise, but he can run the offense very well. Similar to Lamar Jackson. We've seen Tyler Huntley have good moments in the past. The man went to a Pro Bowl. For what it's worth, that's good to have on your resume. But the Pro Bowl isn't the same as it used to be. You can make it as an alternate. But Tyler Huntley performed very well when Lamar Jackson missed time a few years ago. This is the problem that I have with the coaching staff here. Instead of going out there with Tyler Huntley, you have Cooper Rush, Prototypical quarterback, get the football out quick. He's a solid backup. You put him in that situation, and Kansas City blitzed the hell out of Cooper Rush. And he had constant bad moments. It got so bad with Cooper Rush. They took him out of the game against the Los Angeles Rams, and they put in Tyler Huntley, and he gave them some juice. But the damage was done. The Baltimore Ravens, they opened the season 1-5. And a lot of games here. The defense did not help you out. Your offense didn't look the same and was bad coaching decision by Coach Harbaugh. He's been here for 18 years. I'm not letting him get away from this. He's had a lot of bad moments as a Ravens head coach, especially over the last 3 to 4 years. Against the Houston Texans, you put in Cooper Rush. He's 14 of 20, 179 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions. After the first interception, I would have pulled him out the game. But they just don't understand. You don't understand. You don't have to feel for the game anymore. Then your defense gives up 4 passing touchdowns to CJ for 244 passing yards. At this point in time in the season, the Houston Texans were ranked 30th in scoring offense, but not against this Ravens defense. And I get it. You're down to your second and third string players, but you should still be able to go out there and make adjustments and to put pressure on CJ. But that was the excuse at the point in time. So now you rock out with Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley comes in. Against the Rams, he gave you a spark, gave you a boost. You go against the Bears. You win this game 30-16. Tyler Huntley, 17 of 22, 186 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 0 interceptions. Very efficient, got outside the pocket, made plays on third down when he had to, and he kept this team on schedule. And they ran the football with Derrick Henry. And one note about Derrick Henry, he had back-to-back fumbles against the Bills in week 1, against the Browns, and against the Detroit Lions early in the season. He deserves blame as well. But back to Tyler Huntley. He came in, looked very good. 1,000 times better than Cooper Rush. But there was a lot of reports coming out. Lamar Jackson, he's ready to go. He's going to be back very soon from the hamstring injury. He was on pace to play against the Bears. But within 48 hours before tip-off, a report came out. Tyler Huntley will be the starting quarterback. Lamar Jackson will not play. Now, that was smart by Coach Harbaugh. You hype him up all week long, knowing damn well he wasn't going to play. You mess with the Bears and their coaching staffs and their head, make them adjust on the fly, and it worked out. But now Lamar Jackson comes back against the Miami Dolphins. He had 4 passing touchdowns. He still didn't look right outside the pocket. He didn't have those splash plays moving around, juking a defender going from left to right, hitting a spin move. That is what makes Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson. But he was 18 of 23, 204 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, only 14 rushing yards. And you have a bunch of people that'll say, well, you know what? Lamar Jackson, he's more of a rusher than he is a passer anyway. That's not true. But his legs, they help take him over the top, similar with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And the next thing that you know, the Baltimore Ravens will go on a 5-game win streak. They'll beat the Miami Dolphins 28-6 Thursday Night Football. The next week against the Minnesota Vikings, they won this game 27-19. Lamar Jackson 17 of 29, 176 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. Still didn't look right outside the pocket, and I said this in last week's video. They go on this 5-game win streak. You have some bad moments, you have some good moments, but at least you're winning. But be on lookout for Lamar Jackson and pay attention to how he looks outside the pocket. The one thing that I know, hamstring injuries, they can linger. You may feel good one week. The next week, you may feel some tightness. The week after that, you may just say, okay, you know what? I can't go out there and I can't perform at all. And that's the case right now with Lamar Jackson from the eye test here. But against the Vikings, your defense, they stepped up. Remember when I said the defense, they were so bad, historically bad early on in the season? For the first 5 weeks, to give Zachary Orr a lot of credit, he made adjustments. They made a trade to bring in Gilman from the Los Angeles Chargers. You now have him as single high safety, Kyle Hamilton, back to the line of scrimmage. Get closer to the line. Play inside the box. Play alongside Roquan Smith. Watch out for those tight ends. Put you inside the nickel cornerback position. You need to be our chess piece. And the defense, they stepped up against the Miami Dolphins, against the Minnesota Vikings, against the Cleveland Browns. Now let's pause here for a minute. Against the Cleveland Browns, Dylan Gabriel starting quarterback. Before he went down with that head injury, and it was a concussion, the Ravens were down in this game, 16-10. Shedeur Sanders comes in. The Baltimore Ravens, they capitalized. They blitzed a young quarterback, making his first start in the NFL in a tough situation. They won the game. You can make the case that the Ravens would have lost this matchup if Dylan Gabriel was still in the game. For the simple fact, he didn't make a mistake. He took what the defense gave him. He didn't throw an interception. He played through the defense. Myles Garrett and those players, they were madmen against Lamar Jackson. And once again, he could not move inside or outside the pocket. But your defense stepped up. They came in clutch. Finally, we're seeing the defense step up. They're having these good moments. Hell, even against bad quarterbacks at this point in time, I'll take it. The next week against the New York Jets, I was very concerned here. You won this game 23-10, but you had bad moments. Lamar Jackson was 13-23, 153 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Lamar Jackson had 7 rushing attempts for only 11 rushing yards. Let me say that again. One of the best dual threat quarterbacks in NFL history, a 2-time MVP, 7 rush attempts for only 11 rushing yards. But you still won the game. And in today's game against the Cincinnati Bengals, you have this 5-game win streak. This is easily one of the worst games in Lamar Jackson's career. Lamar, 17-32, 246 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. He fumbled the football twice in this game. They had 5 turnovers as a team against the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense is in the bottom of the NFL in terms of turnovers, sack percentage, and coverage percentage as well on the back end. And plays per EPA. And this is what the Ravens did tonight against the Bengals. Maybe it was a Thanksgiving type of situation. They weren't fully prepared. But that goes back to coaching here. There is no way that Lamar Jackson should look this bad. If he's injured, take him out the lineup, put in Tyler Huntley. If he's 100%, this is bad. This may be regression with Lamar Jackson. And that is if he's 100%. I don't think that he is. But if he can't move around outside the pocket with this offensive line, it's a wash of a season. This is a terrible offensive line in the interior. You have Ronnie Stanley, very good player. You have Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best centers in the game. Daniel Falele at the right guard position is one of the worst starting guards in the game. Whenever they run certain plays, he's facing Lamar Jackson. Offensive linemen are meant to have their back towards you. They're not meant to face you. And the same with the left guard and Andrew Voorhees. Now, Andrew Voorhees has had better moments than Daniel Falele. But Andrew Voorhees, he's a holding machine. He's had bad moments. But it's so easy to pick on Daniel. I'm seeing them run twist up front, and it's nothing he can do about it. And you can't bench him. Emory Jones, he's just as bad. And whenever Lamar Jackson tries to float outside the pocket, here comes pressure. They hawk him down. But in the last 3 games, for the first time in his career, 0 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles lost, and 8 sacks. That is Lamar Jackson. That's not a franchise quarterback. And he's my favorite quarterback in the game. And I was saying, give him MVP last year based off of numbers. He was phenomenal. I know the argument that Lamar Jackson has more talent around him than Josh Allen. But look at the season that Lamar had last year. I refuse to believe that a healthy Lamar Jackson is this bad. He has to be injured. And Todd Monken, in the 4th quarter, this is still a close game against the Bengals. You lost this game 32-14. Your defense stepped up. Even though your offense had 5 turnovers, they did the best they could against Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Why doesn't Derrick Henry get the football in the fourth quarter? 0 touches. 0. Not even a screen pass. He was your best offensive player today. He had more receiving yards than Zay Flowers. And I'm not going to let Zay Flowers off the hook. Zay Flowers had 2 catches, 6 yards, 7 targets, 1 fumble. He was pathetic in today's game. Isaiah Likely, he stepped up. 5 catches, 95 receiving yards. Mark Andrews, 4 catches, 47 receiving yards. Derrick Henry, that 1 catch went for 44 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 catches, 25 yards. But Derrick Henry, who you're paying a lot of money to, is a top paid running back in the NFL just last season. Historic season. 10 carries, 60 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. And you can't give him a single touch in the fourth quarter. That's coaching malpractice on Coach Harbaugh and the same with Todd Monken. Even if you're down by 14, you still run the football. I don't want to hear that excuse where they're down in this game. They have been down by 10 points before, 14 points before. Let's run the football with Derrick Henry. Let's work off a play action. You got outcoached by Zach Taylor. And you guys know how I feel about Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor is not a good coach in the NFL with the Bengals. He's being carried right now by Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Yes, he went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Look at what he's done since then. His record without Joe Burrow is terrible. And this is a Ravens team. Super Bowl aspirations. Something has to change. They're not a legitimate Super Bowl contender this year. And I said the same thing about the Buffalo Bills. This year in the NFL has been weird as hell. I enjoy it. It's parody. But Kansas City, they're 6-6. Buffalo, they don't look the same. They're second in their division. The Steelers, they're hanging on by a thread right now. They're back to first place in this division. But they've been struggling over the last month. And you have the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow just came back. The chances of them making the postseason slim to none. But they still have a shot. This division is so bad to where you can make the case that the Cleveland Browns could potentially make the postseason. Now, a lot of teams have to lose out. Some things have to get weird. But it's a chance. And the Cleveland Browns only have three wins on the year. The Ravens, 6-6. The Steelers, 6-5. What the hell happened to the AFC North? This is a division. I said this months ago. It may be time to bring in a whole set of new coaches for the Ravens, for the Steelers, for the Bengals, and for the Browns, because something is not working. There is no way that the AFC North was projected to be this bad entering the 2025 season, but yet we're here. And I fully want to put this out here and emphasize this. Injuries have held the Texans back this year, but coaching still deserves blame. Now, you go back to last year when they went against the Buffalo Bills in the postseason. That loss wasn't all on Coach Harbaugh. It came down to that 2-point conversion attempt with Mark Andrews. He drops the football. That's not on the coach there. That's a good play call design. That's on the player. But Lamar still had bad moments in that game. Eventually, something has to change. I don't see them moving off of Lamar Jackson after this year. Coach Harbaugh, he may leave. 18 years as a head coach is a very long time. But something has to change with the Baltimore Ravens. I still have them winning this division. Next week, they face the Steelers. This was a slip up with the Ravens. It's a holiday. Figure it out next week. If they lose against the Steelers next week, and if they don't make it to the postseason, Coach Harbaugh has to go. But I think you can make the case for every single coach in this division. They all need to leave. With Zach Taylor, that defense, except for tonight, throughout the season, it's been terrible. Same with last year. The Steelers, they're a hamster on the wheel. They're stuck in place. As long as they go above 500, they're okay. Go to the playoffs, one and done. The Baltimore Ravens, they've won some playoff games, but they want to get to the next level as a Super Bowl team. I don't see them being that team right now with Coach Harbaugh being the head coach. And the Cleveland Browns, they need new ownership. Then they need to bring in new executives and new coaches. That's what the Browns need. But this entire division, just not good enough. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys to stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.